How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Alfred Hitchcock, and this is Music to be Murdered by.
Ah, Miss Borovsky. A pleasure as always. This must be your physics class. I heard you wretched delinquents were having a bit of trouble with Newton's 3 laws. Am I right? You see, Newton was a great man, a good friend of mine. Born December 25th, 1642, he was an English physicist and master mathematician. He's widely known as one of the most influential scientists in history. Now, he, my dear friends, was the father of Newton's 3 laws of motion. Now let me introduce you to my dear friend, Ted. Now, Ted, how would a bike ride to demonstrate Newton's first law, inertia?
My name's Ted. I'm going on a bike ride.
Now you may be wondering why I showed you that previous video clip. A boy going over his handlebars. Now what in the world does that have to do with Sir Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion? More than you may think. You see, his first law, inertia, the property of matter to resist changes in motion unless an external force is applied. You see, when Ted's bicycle hit the side of the road, an external force was applied to it, causing it to halt. There was no such force applied to Ted, which ultimately resulted in him careening over his handlebars to his untimely and tragic fate. Truly, the good die young.
Welcome to the kitchen. Now, here's Ted with an example of Newton's 2nd law.
We're making eggs. It won't break.
Give the egg a bit more acceleration.
More acceleration? What'll that do?
Just try.
Okay. Bon appetit.
Ted, you are indeed a fantastic cook. But apart from those eggs being delicious, they were also a great example of Newton's 2nd law. Force equals mass times acceleration. Now, in Ted's first attempt in breaking the eggs, he was not so successful. This was because his acceleration was not great enough to make the force great enough to break the egg's shell. But in the second example, he had no problem breaking the egg. This was because he had increased his acceleration accordingly to make the force great enough to break the egg's shell. Well, I guess you've got to break a few eggs to make a few omelets.
Thank you, kind sir, for that eloquent description of Newton's 2nd law of motion. Now, for his 3rd and final law. Let's check back with Ted, see what he's up to.
My name's Ted, and I'm gonna run into a wall!
Oh, Ted. While your means may be brutish, you truly exemplified Newton's 3rd law in action, which is to say, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You see, when Ted ran at the wall, he exerted a great force on it, which was equaled by the wall onto Ted. Now, the wall, being greater in mass and much more stable than Ted, ended up prevailing in this conflict, we shall call it, which ultimately resulted in Ted's untimely fall to the floor. Now that, my friends, is all I have for you today. I hope that, with my assistance, your understanding of Newton's 3 laws was greatly improved. Thank you, Ms. Borowski, for graciously hosting me. Now, I have other business to attend to.
On the dance floor, shaking it up. Everybody grooving, DJ, mixing it up. Who came to party? Let me see you move your feet. Get it going, girl. Come on, do it with me. Move your hips like this now, clap to the beat. This is it, y'all. Let's take it back to the street. School's out. Let's enjoy the heat. It's on you now. Do it like you're playing for keeps. This joint right here for you to bang in the Jeep. Old school, new school. Come on, wiggle with me. Party people. There's something I want to teach you. The new dance. It's called Max People.
Remember this is the good stuff.